Hello, I am Lauren Weinberg. I am the Becoming Coach, psychologist turned empowerment and well-being coach.
Hi, and I'm Melanie McLeod. I'm a certified professional coach. I specialize in spiritual coaching. And welcome to Talking Transformation Live.
Where it is always real talk in real time for real people, because that's us and that's you. And we thank you so much for joining us. If you are here live, please let us know by dropping a comment. That's how we know that you're here. So we would love it if you would say hello.
Absolutely. So, how are you doing today, Lauren?
I am awesome. I am in such a good mood because I have been thinking about my superpowers.
Wow. Well, do tell because as soon as you say superpowers, I can feel us with our capes on. So, what's written on the back of our capes, Lauren?
Right? Can you see the little cape fluttering in the breeze behind us? You know what? This is something that, like, I think of as a novel question to people, like in a networking group. You say, like, what are your superpowers? But today we decided we were going to talk about celebrating our strengths. And I thought, okay, well, that's a little bit extreme to go to superpowers, but it's a way of thinking about it. And it's a fun way to think about it. And more than just a networking party trick, it actually can be very profound.
It really is. One of the experiences I've had is when I'm working with people and I ask them to list their strengths and their weaknesses. A lot of people had no trouble with the weaknesses. They would just go to town. And then when they get to the strengths, they'd hesitate. And I'd say, why are you hesitating? Because it's so easy to criticize ourselves and to talk about what we can't do or we're not good at. But there are so many things that we're great at. And we have to learn how to celebrate ourselves and be able to say, yes, I am good at that. And it doesn't mean you're bragging, it doesn't mean you're arrogant. It means that you acknowledge what you can do well.
That's right. You're self aware. And, just like everybody has things that they're good at and things that they're not as good at, right? And one way to think about it is like when I'm at my best, right? And that people can talk about. That people can say, when I'm at my best, I am this, 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 and this. And
Absolutely.
then when I'm off my mark, then it looks like this, and this. And maybe that's the part that they don't really want to acknowledge, but that's part of self acceptance, right? Is acknowledging both the good and the bad, both.
It's very, very, very important. And to also recognize that, we always see other people's strengths and other people's talents and other people's abilities. And so my whole life, I always said, I don't have any talents. I can't sing, I can't dance. So we're good. And when I was
I've heard you
little,
say
I
that.
was like, can't sing, I can clear a room faster than fire if I start singing. But when I was little, I used to get in trouble for talking so much, but now I get paid to talk. So I recognize now that talking is not a bad thing, even though I grew up feeling like it was.
Oh my gosh, just you saying that brought that up for me as well. I really never thought about that, Mel. Thanks. And that's why we listen. That's why we have these conversations, right? And we hope that it triggers something for you too at home if you're listening. I used to get in trouble for talking every single year of my elementary years. Every single year, the teacher would move me away from her desk. She'd move me closer to her desk. She'd move me next to somebody I didn't talk to very often. Nothing helped. I'm a talker. And right. But now that's what I do. I share my ideas with people, right? Whether it's speaking or writing, I share my ideas. And that is a strength, right? That was something that people tried to tell me was a weakness. And
Yep.
thank goodness I didn't listen to them. Thank you for reminding me.
Absolutely. And I can tell you, there's so many things that we just don't think about. I had an aunt who came to visit one time, and I happened to be at work all day, and I had to leave her home. And I got back home, and this woman now I thought my house was clean, but I tell you, I could put my makeup on in the faucet. It was amazing. She cleaned. I've never seen cleaning like that. You could put two guns to my head. I could never do that. But that's just an innate talent and ability that she has that she just doesn't even think of as being anything. And I'm looking at her like, oh, if we live in the same city, I'd pay you to come clean my house. That's a strength. That's a talent. That's an innate gift. It's a whole lot of things.
It's all of that. And it's amazing, right? The things that come easiest to us, and I think maybe that's part of it. The things that come so easily that we don't feel we have to work at, we don't give ourselves credit for those things.
Right. Right.
But other people do.
Oh, absolutely.
If you listen.
Absolutely. Because whatever it is that you do well, somebody else doesn't. And so we all have strengths and weaknesses. And so that's why it's so important, especially if you want to start a business too, to really be able to know what you really are good at instead of just saying, well, that's going to pay money, because that's you want to do something that you connect to, something that you feel good about doing. Mm-hmm. And so that's why this to me is so important. And we need to celebrate our children. I love to tell the story. My son, when he was little, he used to take things apart. And he never got in trouble. I would just bring him in the room and I'd say, look, I don't want you taking the vacuum cleaner apart. Okay. But I'm going to give you things that you can take apart. So I would give him things that he could take apart. And he grew up and he became a technician at a cable company. And now he's a supervisor for all the technicians. He had technical ability. He does DIY projects. He puts in his own game rooms, his own everything. And he just learned on his own because he had that natural gift of working with his hands.
But would he celebrate that gift? Or does it come so easily to him that he's like, whatever, I could do that.
Well, I think he celebrates it now by making his home so beautiful for his family. And if I have yelled at him and punished him for taking things apart, then I might have shut down that creativity that he had. But I think that acknowledging our children's gifts and not smashing them, I didn't yell at him or scream at him. I just made him understand what things he could take apart, with things, please don't do that. But not screaming and yelling at him. And I think that's why he was able to grow up to discover that he really does like to use his hands.
So then I'm celebrating in you your ability to see that in your child and to follow your natural instinct, to help him follow his natural instinct, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember that phrase, like, don't toot your own horn, right? We all know that. And I remember somebody saying like, oh, if you have to toot your own horn, it means nobody's tooting it for you. But
wow.
That's just not the reality, right? It's not a way to feel good about yourself, because we're so quick. Our brains are hardwired to look for the negative. And we are so quick to cut ourselves down. But we don't take the time to build ourselves up. Yeah. And there are so many different reasons to do it. So one is because you will feel better. Like, tell yourself what you're awesome at. You don't have to be over the top. Just, say what you're good at. You will feel better about yourself. You will feel more confident.
And it's important if you're going to ever be an entrepreneur. There's a lot of people, they say they want to be entrepreneurs, but they can't do an elevator pitch. They can't speak about what they do. And the bottom line is, it's not Field of Dreams. You build it and they will come. People are not coming to you because of what you do. They're coming to you because of you. So it's how you talk to them and how you connect with them that makes them want to do business with you. So it's really important for you to be comfortable and confident in what you're doing and how you're doing it, so you can speak to them and show them and explain to them the benefits and features of what you do. That is extremely important. And I find a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with that.
A lot of people struggle with that, regardless of what they do. I mean, what I help people do is show up, right? Show up in your life and show up strong for yourself first, so that you can then show up strong for everybody else. Yes. And if you're in a job where you get reviewed, I want to make a distinction, because we're not talking about accomplishments. Sometimes people have a little bit easier time talking about their accomplishments.
Yes.
So I'm just talking about strengths. And a manager may ask somebody, what are you good at? What do you bring to the team? Where can I best plug you in and capitalize on what you're great at? Or even if you're applying for a job, you have to be able to talk about your strengths, your skills, your talents, your gifts.
Yes.
So other people don't know you. You have to be able to speak that so they can get a glimpse inside. And it's not bragging. And it's how you do it. If you just do it matter of factly, because these are the facts, ma'am. Stick to the facts, ma'am. Like these are the facts of you, right? Just
Yes.
like I have blonde hair and green eyes, I'm a good talker, and in fact, we should talk about what our strengths are, what our superpowers are. I know that my superpower, part of that is helping to hold up a mirror. Like you said before, you're so good at seeing what somebody else is good at. I love to hold up that mirror so that other people can see in themselves what I see in
What I
them
say. I
and
love
what
that
other
too.
people see,
That's one
right?
of my favorite things. And I love teaching. I've been a teacher since I was born in this world. I remember when I was 3 years old and my brother was 4 years older than me, I had to teach him how to take his vitamins because he didn't want to swallow anything. And, it's like my parents saw I was a teacher from the time I was that little because I was always asked in the family to show people how to do things or explain to people how to do things. And so that's a natural ability that I don't even know if they realize that that's what they saw when they would ask me to do things, but that's what they saw. I'm a natural teacher.
Right. And, so celebrating these things that do come naturally to us. And if you're not sure, if it's really hard to get it, ask people. Ask your good friends or your family members. Send them an email and say, hey, can you tell me, like, 3 things that you think that you would come to me for? Or, 3 things that I'm good at? Or what do you like about me? And get that feedback and then sit in it and revel in it and just feel how good it feels to recognize the strengths.
Yeah. And and when people ask you to do things, a lot of times I'll see people will get annoyed. Like everybody always wants me to do that. Well, why do they want you to do that? Because obviously they have trust and faith that you're going to handle it really well, or they wouldn't be asking you to do it. So I think that those are things that are kind of telltale signs that people see something in you and they're asking you to handle it.
Absolutely. Right. So make a list of those things. What are those things that other people come to you for? What are those things that other people, like Melanie is saying, ask you to do for them over and over again? What are the kinds of projects you get assigned at work? What strengths are they seeing in you that you capitalize on, that you handle those projects well? Um, we're celebrating strengths of our kids. My daughter was told that she is great at interacting with clients. And they said to her, not everybody can do that. No, she's just comfortable in her own skin and is curious and enjoys speaking to people and, is confident and shows up that way. She immediately thought, well, what do you mean? Like, I'm
Yeah.
good at that and other people aren't? That's a thing? Like, I'm supposed to be good at that?
Everything is a thing, okay? Because there are some people think, and some people I know they get mad at me when I say this, but I'm gonna tell you, there is no such thing as common sense because it's common to your exposure. So people think, well, that's common sense. They should know that. Well, how would they know that if they were never exposed to that? That's your common sense. They have a different common sense. Okay.
I like it. That's a good point, Mel. Any other tips to help
So,
people take a
so,
look at their strengths?
yeah. So basically, I think that one of the things for me that it took a long time to recognize is that I always thought that talents and abilities and strengths had to look a certain way, and they had to be something that the whole world recognizes. But I think that if you're a person that loves to sit down and write poetry, or you love to journal. I saw a woman recently who took her journal and turned it into a book, and she's teaching people how to journal, and that's because just her loving the journal has turned into a business for her, and now she's teaching people how to journal, and she sells journals and she sells books on journaling, and it's amazing, just something that she loved to do turned into something like that. So I think that people sometimes don't really look at their passions or their loves as strengths. And because, like you said earlier, it's easy and no, it's nothing. It is something. So if you love to write poetry, if you love to do that, whatever it is, you love the garden, those are absolutely 100% strengths. If you love working with children or you love working with animals, everybody can't do those things. And so those are things that make you different, make you unique, make you special. So think about the things that you naturally do. That's where I love to go back to. Go back to the things that you naturally do because those are our innate strengths.
They are. And the things that sometimes you don't love about yourself could also be a strength. It depends how you look at it, you know? So sometimes even the ability to self-reflect maybe, or to pick up on people's whether or not they're honest or not honest. You know, if you have like a good radar, like that might be something that you don't give yourself credit for at all. And it really might be a strength that could
Yes.
serve you and could serve other people as well.
And I think that is being intuitive is a strength. And even police departments now are recognizing that. They're bringing people in that have intuitive gifts to help them solve cases because they're realizing, like, whoa, okay, that's something we're spending all this time trying to break this case. And we got somebody who's able to tune into some facts and things that we did not even see. So,
Right.
as we begin to wrap up, Lauren, is there any last minute words you have?
Think about how you're going to celebrate your superpowers, your strengths. You know, take a moment. You know, you don't have to have a party for them. It doesn't have to be that kind of celebration, but recognize them. Give yourself credit. Sit in that moment that you can just say, yeah, these are my strengths. I'm going to own them. And I'm going to feel good about how that makes me unique. Like,
Yeah.
celebrate yourself in that way without
Yes.
looking at the weaknesses or anything else. Just sit in the strengths and feel what it feels like to let yourself love yourself that way.
Absolutely. So whatever it is, if you're a person that's a natural organizer, a person that's a natural cleaner, whatever it is, that's a good thing.
That's a
So
good
don't
thing.
forget to honor yourself and give yourself credit for who you are. And we hope to see you again next week. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, you can contact us at on by email at talkingtransformationlive@gmail.com. Or you can get in touch with either Lauren or myself at our respective websites. I hope to see you again next week.
Celebrate your strengths. See you next time.
Bye bye.